will go on Facebook.
Sorry everybody, we're running a little bit late today.
That's late. If I can get this. Expand.
We're trying to connect to YouTube as well.
There we go.
Anne has something special for us today.
Do I?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay. Alright. Go live.
It's kind of like a monotone project.
A monochromatic. We're going to talk about one of the elements of art, value.
Value.
Tints and tones if you're doing paint mixing. Oh, goodness gracious. Go live.
These are some examples of
never
a
mind.
grayscale project.
Yeah, so this is
Here.
it looks like it's doing it. Alright. For this project, you can choose like one or two colors that are similar colors, so like an orange and red, or just an orange, or you can do just black and white. We're focusing on tints and shades. Jeannie, what are tints and shades again?
They are, you add black or white to a color. So a shade, you would add black to get different value, the darker value tones.
Mm-hmm.
White is a tint, and you add that to get the lighter value tones.
Mm-hmm. So we're looking at the value, the lightness or the darkness of the color or that you're using. The hue. Hue? I don't know if that's the right
A
one.
hue is a color.
Oh, there.
Pure color.
I would suggest a pencil to start with, which I don't have.
Here's a pencil.
I am prepared. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do.
I'm gonna get us some clean water.
All right. Before we even start our project, so there's a lot of things we're gonna do a scene of some sort. You can think about if you can do like just a misty mountain landscape. You could do a forest or a desert or a cityscape. So you can start pondering ideas for that. But the first thing we're going to do is lay out what our value scale is going to be. We're going to try to do 5 to 6 values. So, and we're going to kind of treat this as like a color by number sort of thing. So I'm going to try to do 6 for mine. And the first value is going to be just white. And the last value is going to be black or just a really dark color.
I'm going to do mine slightly different to show you how you can do it in a different way. Just so we can show 2 different variations of the value scale. Mine is going to be a bar, and we're going to go, which way are you going, light to dark?
Yeah, I'm going to do my 1 is the lightest and 6 is the darkest.
Okay.
I'm going to use...
I'm going to go dark to light.
Okay. I'm picking like orange ranged markers. So this one looks yellowy, but it's like a yellow orange. This is a red orange, and brown, it's kind of like a dark orange.
And I'm going to use paint.
Yeah. So I'm leaving number 1 white, because that's my paper.
I'm going to fill in my bar with water.
These look nearly identical. No, that's a little darker. Okay, good. If you're mixing paint, if you're using like acrylic or gouache, you can mix in whites and blacks. Well, yeah, like we were saying with the tints and tones.
So I'm going to use the black to start with because I'm going to go from a darker value to a lighter value. And the water here will help. I'm just gonna keep pulling the color. I'm not gonna reload with color. I'm just gonna keep pulling the color through, and you'll see it starts getting lighter and lighter. Yours looks like a neutral value scale.
A neutral value scale?
Mm-hmm. Because they're all neutral color.
Yeah, it's all they're all related. Ideally, if I were using a color like a watercolor color, they would all just be the same color, just with more and more intensity to it. But I'm trying to show off you can do markers too. I
don't want to leave this just the color of the paper. I'm going to fill it in with white.
So you can blend them in.
Mm-hmm. And there you go. Yep. That is a value scale.
Mm-hmm. Now, for a lot of in the sample pictures, you can see that they're pretty flat versions of the colors, which is why I did the boxes. But it's important to keep an idea of how you get, which. Oh gosh, words. Keep an idea of what number on the scale those are. So if you're doing the gradient like this, if you think about what is a 5 on that scale going to be, it's going to be about here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're planning your picture, you can keep in mind that the 5 is going to be closer to the foreground is how we're doing it. We're going from light in the background to dark in the foreground. In this picture, they actually used the sun as the lightest color. So the sky became number 2. And then the clouds and the mountain in the farthest background is number 3. Then another closer mountain, number 4. There's some trees that are really faded in the back there. That's number 5. Another row of trees right here, number 6. They've actually got another of just black trees in the foreground. That's 7. So that's kind of the easiest way to do it. Here's an example with just the mountains again. They use the sun, number 1. Sky, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there are many fun ways you can do this.
Oh, Troy's watching on YouTube.
Hey!
Hi, Troy. Hi, Junior.
Desert. This is a really cool project to do if you like to draw cities. Here's, well, I guess we already showed this up. So yeah, and if you're doing this with pencil or pen, in this example, you can see they create the difference in the darkness is just by how dense they draw those lines. So if you're doing it farther away, you have just very light lines. You can crosshatch darker and darker to get that closer to the foreground.
Is this YouTube or is this?
Oh no, that's just the Facebook. It's just streaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So he's on Facebook.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I should bring my.
Right.
I'm gonna bring my comments up for that. So yeah, so go ahead and grab your pencil if you've not yet. The other thing I'm going to do is make a quick thumbnail, a quick plan.
Hi, Jancy.
Of what my scene's going to be. What do you guys think we should, what are some scene ideas that you guys can think of? Landscapes. We could do a desert. We could do a mountain in a forest. We could do, I don't know, a cityscape. What sounds like it'd be fun?
I know Sinclair was wanting something spacey.
Spacey, yeah. Let's see. I guess you could do different planets, like an eclipse happening closer, closer, closer. Do a planet with many other planets in the background. That could be cool.
Or a planetscape.
A planetscape. Oh yeah, draw like Mars, and then put a little curiosity drone on there. All right. Oh, sorry.
I am going to just blot this so I can flip my page.
Alright.
Okay.
I kind of want to do like a mountain scene. I like this one, which is like the mountains and the forest and sun in the background.
I like the spacey
Space.
idea.
So you do space.
Well, I think a space idea would be cool because you can do it opposite.
That's true.
Where it's dark.
Dark to light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
So whatever Anne does, I'll be doing the opposite.
You'll do the opposite.
Yeah.
I will do an earthbound picture. You will do a space picture.
Yes.
I've actually seen some that were like the ocean at night. That was also the dark to light. That was very cool.
Ooh, yeah.
There was like a little glowing sailboat on it.
Is it pencil shirt?
No, I was looking for it. Sorry.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Also, when you're planning your scene out, you just draw lightly. So I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, I guess actually I'll do a quick thumbnail. So I like the sun here. Look at that. There's a mountain. Trees. More trees. Okay. I should have just planned it on the whole page. Oh, I like the rings. While you're planning your scene, decide what number value you want to go in each layer, basically. And if you want to do kind of a cool misty effect, you can kind of fade from one to the other, but start with just a simple one. So since I'm doing marker, each layer is going to be a solid color. So I'm planning out.
So it's going to be a crater right here.
Ooh, cool.
I hope Sinclair's watching. This is for you, Sinclair.
I kind of want to do like a little castle in the background of one of my mountains. Maybe I'll have a dragon up in the sky. Just very rough idea of where things are gonna go. Oh, that looks awesome, Jeannie.
I think I have.
There we go, little dragon. Okay.
For those of you, here is my scene, if you can see it.
Oh yeah, it's showing up pretty
I
good.
feel like Mark Kistler.
And here is my scene, if you can see it. And it's very rough. That's okay. We're just trying to figure out what the tones
This
are
will
going.
be just like a space volcano. up
Yep.
here.
And I'm gonna, just to help me out, I'm gonna go ahead and very lightly with a pencil mark what number on my scale I want to put in each one. So, with my sun, so that's gonna be a little 1. I can erase it later. Sky's gonna be a number 2. And have the dragon be a 3, and this mountain be a 3. Be 4, 5, and 6. So that way when I'm coloring, I can immediately know, hey, this color is supposed to go over here.
And this guy's poking his head out.
Oh, I like that.
Like Gilroy was here.
Yep.
Speaking of, we were going to do a graffiti project, and did you know that Gilroy was here was actually graffiti?
Mm-hmm. There's what is it? One of the oldest
That,
graffitis is
yeah.
just like someone in Rome just being like, I don't know what a Roman name is. Claudius was here. Stuff like that. I do still want to do the graffiti project, but I think that's a better one for once we're back in program.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then what color is this going to be?
It will be the stark contrast.
Okay.
To
whatever 6 is. So maybe like
it'll probably be like a 3 and a
3 and a 2. So it's kind of glowy
with some green lights.
Nice.
Shining out. Like usual, I'm just gonna outline what I do not want painted. So everything that's dry will not get painted in what is wet with. And then I will add in my color. Or I'm not adding in color at all, I'm just adding in a shade.
Andrea, hey.
How's everybody doing?
I hope you're having a great week.
How are you doing, Troy? I hope you're still watching. I'm happy that you're watching.
I would like to say that I have marker technique tips, but I do not. I just kind of scribble in whatever direction. Do you have any marker technique tips?
I usually just color on the side like a colored pencil.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Rather than the tip. That's true.
Marker's good for cross hatching to get good results.
Yeah, I can see that. Totally. For me, it's easier to go lightest to darkest because it's easier to just build up the dark when I'm doing like watercolor type stuff. But if it's still wet, this way you can also kind of jump around while one section is drying. Because you know what colors are going where, what tones are going where.
Okay, let's see if this works. I'm going to start from the top because the top will be the darkest area.
Oh, I can go back in and have like little flecks of space stars in it. That's cool. This is a great exercise for practicing one of the elements of art, value. Just do a bunch of scenes that are all just kind of these value studies that are just breaking it down into tints and shades.
Has anybody watched the She-Ra?
Ooh, yes.
Mila and I just finished the last episode yesterday. We cried.
I just finished season 1, but I'm very much liking it so far. And the art in the background, if you haven't noticed, especially the landscape shots, the scenery, when they zoom out and show like the whole city of the Horde and everything. Beautiful illustrations that are very much in the style of, I think it was a French artist, Mobius. Very awesome, really interesting color use. So if you do watch that show, give some love, pay a little attention to the background sometimes, especially when they do those exterior shots.
Can I just tell you, it's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Is that whole, it's like the best, they're nominated for an Emmy. They better win because it's the best show ever.
It is definitely made with love. It's a very cool show.
I literally went to bed last night. Just that's all I could think about was the whole season and everything that happened, and
it was really good.
I will definitely be watching it again.
That is good.
Like Mila and I, were like, what are we gonna do now?
What do we do with our life?
We don't have She-Ra to watch.
They're gonna make He-Man.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think it's the same studio and everything, so it'd be cool if there was a...
They're taking it over. I guess Sony was supposed to make a He-Man movie, but
she was
they
doing
dropped
so well,
it.
like...
They dropped it, and Netflix picked it up.
Okay. I finished my first layer. Oh, that's gonna be so cool, Jeannie. Nope, wrong one. Why did I grab the Sharpie?
Okay, there we go. Well, my value scales, I need to fill in some spaces here.
How's everybody doing? Are we going too fast? Going too slow? Let us know if you have any questions.
I saved Anne today, you guys.
You did.
I saved her.
There was a big, scary black widow spider, and she defended me. Yeah, it was carrying a big old egg sack and everything. Jeannie the Brave.
So you know how we're talking about doing fairy class and everything? Cleaning my yard, my backyard last week. Picking up stuff and going through things that have been left behind. Something, and I'm saying something because it did not look like an animal.
So no,
like jumped out of an area and like scurried and jumped over something and then dove into some brush.
How big was it?
And it was like I could probably hold it like this in my hand.
Ooh.
It literally looked like it had a head.
Like a human head?
So you know drawings of mushroom people and stuff like that? It was like that, and it was white. And I was like, it happened so fast when I saw it, and I was like, that doesn't look like an animal. So I'm a believer in the fae.
Brownies? Maybe that was a brownie, I think, or gnomes. Could be a gnome.
I think it was my backyard trash fairy.
Trash fairy?
I don't know. The junkyard fairy.
Hey, junkyards need fairies too.
But my yard is nice and clean.
That's nice.
You can see the car that's been abandoned in my backyard now. It's not under a bunch of bushes. Slowly but surely. Okay, so I did this layer, and because this layer is wet, I'm going to have to kind of guesstimate what the next layer. And I'm going to have to do the in-between.
Yep.
I don't want to go too light.
That's why I like to kind of cheat and do the color by number thing and just be like, I can only do this number here. Because otherwise I immediately get lost being like, which color is it going to be? Trying to imagine it.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that layer because I don't want the wet paint to get pulled in.
While it's drying.
Because I want these stark lines.
That looks like a good in-between though. I'm going to check just to make sure our comments are actually scrolling. Let's see. Facebook. No, not that. Okay. Well, they look cool on the stream. That always seems to be the case. It always looks cooler on video.
Then lighter in this section. And you know me, you guys, I'm very much the wet on wet technique person. I feel like some people don't like it because they don't like the way the water takes over the paint, but I like,
they don't like
I feel like I have more control that way.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't. I just feel like if I make a mistake this way, it's easier to fix it. And that's just my preference, though, so. Okay, see a little bit.
This is technically a wyvern, not a dragon, because it only has 2 legs. That's okay.
Or what?
A wyvern? It's
because it has wings and
wings,
just 2 legs.
Wings and just 2 legs. Because there's no, like in real life, as far as we know, there's no animals that have more than 4 limbs. So like birds have wings and 2 feet. Humans have arms and two feet. But dragons and like stuff like centaurs, they're weird. They're like ants because they have 6 limbs. And so I believe that centaurs are actually some kind of giant insect. Thank you. This has been my presentation. What are we talking about again? Right. So, value. How we time?
I can't get to the, oh, here.
It's just in the way. If you
I
click,
can't get to the comments.
yeah. Hey, if you guys are watching, will somebody just post an emoji or something, just so we can know you guys are still there? We're having trouble seeing if our stream is actually showing us comments.
All right. Let's see.
It's red is dying. I think I might go in with a brush after all this and just smooth out the colors. Oh, thank you, Jancy.
Thank you, Jancy.
Just checking. Yeah, if you're coloring with markers and you have the kind that are kind of water soluble, like Crayolas are, you can sometimes go in with just a wet brush, kind of spread them around and it'll blend a little bit better. Hide some of those white spots with the markers drying up.
So this last piece I'm adding in white to create the lighter tone. The very light gray tone.
Very moon colored.
I think I'm going to go ahead and add a little white to this layer too, just to give it more, less of a, like a black feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, should we talk about the class
oh yes,
art class?
So next week I believe is Tech Week, right? Is that correct?
Tech Week.
Yeah. So next week, kind of free week, kind of Tech Week. We're gonna try to workshop like a lot of our tech issues, so we can make sure that we can get people into our classes. We've been kind of fighting with tech issues, trying to get these online. So next week we're gonna have a week where we just kind of try to get in contact with everybody and see what we can do to help it to make it easier for people to get online. And then the following week we'll be starting a slightly new schedule. And one of the things that's changing is we're moving art to Thursdays. And then I believe we're doing we're gonna have like a weekly, just a social after art class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be art specific, just when art class is over. We'll do like our Zoom social, but it'll be a weekly thing. Wednesdays we're gonna do like a garden craft class. Tuesday I believe Conan's doing his mini craft, or no, he's doing mini painting. And then we're moving like mystery is becoming history class, and short stories is becoming literature class, and both of those will be on Monday. And then Friday there's also a class, and I'm blanking on a drawing, maybe?
I hope everybody tunes into our garden.
Yeah!
And fairy lore.
We're going to start with some fairy garden stuff, and Jeannie had a cool idea where we're going to talk about a little bit of the legends behind some fairy and gnome and stuff like that as we're crafting things. So I think it'll be a fun schedule, and those will all be live classes, either like this or like through the Zoom classes that we've been doing.
We'd like to do Zoom so everybody can, we can talk to you.
Yeah.
And not rely on people writing comments.
Yeah, because half the time we're like, is this thing on? Can anybody hear us? Whereas we would know right away if you could not hear us on Zoom. Just castle some little flags.
Ooh, cool.
Unsuspecting castle. Alright, let's see, get some trees in here. I like doing it this way, doing the light to dark, because then on the layers, the dark layers go on top of the other layers, so if I want to go back and add details, it's really easy to just draw over it. But if you've got white paint, you can do the same thing with doing it the reverse, like Jeannie's doing. I'm gonna put some trees in, I think. A little muppety there, that's alright. Well, first I'm gonna just kind of color the outline of my shape, and then I'll go back and make them look properly tree-like. Shane's watching. Hey, Shane.
Hey, Shane.
Welcome to art class. We're making some cool value study landscapes today, or scenes. Not necessarily have to be a landscape. I like to also, like, when we're getting close to the foreground, this would be a cool spot to put like a cliff with like a wolf howling at the moon, or I don't know, some hobbits climbing a mountain in the distance. Fun characters like that, the closer you get. A deer looking out over the forest. Like, actually, I think it is an example of that. Yeah. Like in this one, there's a deer. And this is part of the layer. Or like Jeannie's alien.
Isn't there... Oh, sorry. Where's that one of the buildings?
There's like 3 buildings.
Those sketchy ones.
Ooh, the sketchy one. Yeah, and this is a great one to do. With all the cool line work, and they added like a water tower in the foreground. And this is just 4 tones, but you can see like it does a really good job of kind of, I don't know which way is up. I'm guessing it's that way. Nope, it was this way.
Is up.
Yeah. It does a really good job of like giving the impression of that atmospheric perspective. You can see the buildings receding into the distance because they're getting fainter and fainter as they match the sky. And you could totally switch it and do a night scene. All the buildings lit up and getting darker as they go further towards the night sky.
I'm taking some artistic liberties and jumping around a little bit with
the colors,
with the darks, just because it's light and dark.
Mm-hmm. Some trees. Trees. One of the things we would like to do during the socials is kind of do a little show and tell of our sketchbooks for the people who've been following along with the art stuff. So if you guys feel brave enough to share your work, we would love to see it. Even if it's like not the art class stuff, if you've just been doodling cool Sentai characters or whatever in your, like, for fun, would love to see those also.
Does anybody need a sketchbook, a new sketchbook,
that is
or
true.
a sketchbook at all?
Or any specific art supplies that you're running low on. I noticed the watercolor sets we sent out, like, they seem to run out pretty quick if you use heavily one color, so let us know if you are lacking supplies of some sort. Yeah, I'm gonna go in with black paint over this. He's gonna get the shape. Yeah. I think this project is probably easier with paints or pencils with markers because you can blend a little bit better with paints or pencils. Whereas the marker, you're kind of stuck with what they gave you. But it's still good practice. And I think this still looks pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, there is a black Crayola. Yeah, we'll go in there with that. Not really as dark as the Sharpie, but it's a good start. You can also kind of layer with markers, but you have to keep in mind that it will kind of stain the marker tip. So maybe don't do that with communal markers, only do that with your own markers that you don't mind getting stained.
Or they make those chameleon markers.
Oh yeah, those are cool where you can like touch the tips together.
I'm afraid to get them.
You're afraid to get them?
I am. I don't know why.
You're afraid to get hooked? Would be nothing
I'm
but...
afraid that I'm going to discover I could have done it with any marker.
Oh.
And I spent so much money. Yeah.
Well, it could be that there's something special about them that makes them absorb colors easier, and you could figure out how to make your own after that, having them in person.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, going in and making trees. How we doing on time? Oh, okay. I think we're doing okay.
I've kind of added like a grayscale to each layer.
That's
just
okay.
to give depth.
Yeah.
Because it is like a moon.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want it to look smooth. I wanted it to look rough.
No, that's fair. One mistake that I just made is it helps to have the objects, if you're doing a bunch of similar sized objects like trees, remember to make them larger as each layer gets closer. I forgot I was making a bunch of teeny tiny trees, and that kind of ruins the illusion of them coming closer and closer to the foreground.
The video, it looks like I added brown.
Oh yeah, it's picking
but
up.
I didn't.
Maybe just it's kind of a warm black that's in there. Got some brown tones in it, perhaps.
That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna add some highlights to my.
I'm gonna blend some stuff. Water. Some of these markers are running out of ink. I think those are looking pretty cool, actually.
Pretty neato.
Yeah, I like this. And like, you don't have to go super complicated. You can always just paint mountains, just lots and lots of rows of mountains. But this is a fun way to get some good practice developing that illusion, of value. Because if you look at pictures where you can see off into the distance, the foreground is very rarely the same intensity, the same darkness or lightness as the background, because atmosphere gets in the way, lighting affects things. So and like even the colors will shift slightly as things go forward or backwards. So mountains tend to start to look slightly bluer or slightly closer to the color of the sky if it's during the day.
So in this spaceship, I have to add dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So
form, there you go.
That's where, like inside, this is where the cockpit is. So I'm gonna add a little bit darker than the outside to show that dimension inside. So spaceships are supposed to be stealth, so they're not meant to stand out.
You don't think there'd be aliens with cool, like, hot rods zipping around?
Oh yeah.
Being, check out my neon orange.
Well, UFO. I'm gonna add some lighting.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works.
I think, and then I'm gonna add some highlights of white to show that maybe it's shining.
Okay, yeah, reflections. That makes sense. Is it the wind or somebody rummaging around out there?
I think it's the wind. Oh, where all this wind is coming from. It's not the time when I have a tree that's about to fall in my backyard. Okay, now for the alien.
Can I borrow a corner?
Yeah.
Got a leak. Yeah. Okay. That look. I think I'm gonna add some little tiny trees up by the castle too, but because they're further back, I'm gonna make them teeny tiny trees. There's a forest back there also. Oh, I like the pops of green. Yeah.
This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my beacons.
I'm gonna go back in and add some clouds overlapping. Using that same color as the sky. Ah, got my hands. And I can like go back and keep working this probably for a long time. But this is the basic idea. Probably go back in and layer over some more black and browns to really fill out that area. That looks really cool too, though.
All right. Let's see. Finishing touch on my spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to add white to green to make it stand out.
Some little birds. Or other dragons. That was cool.
There.
Kind of blend
All
it
right.
in.
I tend to put too much detail sometimes.
That's all right. I'm gonna. Yeah. That's cool.
I need the sound effects.
Yeah, yeah. I find that I paint better if there are sound effects involved.
Those are the lights shining out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wait. I wanted to add parapets. Very important. The castle with parapets. There you go. So yeah, what do you guys think? Is anybody working on one of these? What are you drawing? I'd be very curious to know. Oh, that guy's great. Look at that. Just peeking out. Like a space hobbit. Living in a, I don't know.
In a crater.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, I just muddied up all my white.
Do you want to for stars?
Ooh, these are so good. Where'd you get these?
The internet. Amazon, I think.
They're better than any white gel pen I've ever...
Yeah, they're the best ones I've found so far. They tend to be a little bit leaky, but they show up really well.
Yeah, most the white gel pens I've ever got, they soak in...
Yeah.
They soak up the background color.
Yeah, these ones are practically paint pens. They're great. Also, let us know if you're still using the gel pens, if it's running out, if we need to get more.
Wow,
Yay.
This was so much fun.
I'm
like excited.
I think we both made really cool pictures.
I know.
I need to let this.
I love this part.
I need to let it dry a bit because I want the black to pop out more than the brown. But like, right now both areas are wet. So I would go back and add just a little bit more detail in a couple places. But other than that, that's pretty much done. My
Neato.
little scene with the mountains and the forest and the castle and the little dragon. Oh, but
can't forget to sign your artwork.
Oh yeah. Where's the gel pen? I'll use white. Aha.
It's official.
Yep,
you go ahead, show yours.
All right. Ooh. So this is my finished, mostly finished one. I'm gonna go back and probably layer in on the black a little bit more so it stands out more from the brown. But yeah, you can see the different shades in there. All right.
And then here's my grayscale.
Yeah, look at that.
With some pops.
I love it.
Of color. I didn't see Sinclair on here today, but this was for you, Sinclair.
Jancy said she's working on one and she's doing the Dusk Meadow. Oh, cool. I immediately think of like the Feywild when I think of a dusky meadow, so that's cool. Yay! Well, if you feel up to sharing that with us, we'd love to see it, but I'm glad that you're working on it.
How fun was this?
Yeah.
All right.
I like this project. Thanks for joining.
And next week is Tech Week.
Yep.
So we have a break from an art project.
Yes.
Which gives us lots of time to prepare for the next semester.
Yeah.
And we have lots of ideas.
We do.
Collectively.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you.
Yep.